Welcome to KMUZ Theater Talk. I'm your host, Ed Shopes. KMUZ Theater Talk comes your way the first and third Fridays of every month with news and in-depth interviews about auditions and performances of plays and musicals running at theaters throughout the Mid-Willamette Valley. On today's episode, I'll talk with director Marla Nuttman from Gallery Theatre about auditions for the musical XANADU coming up Sunday, May 18th and Monday, May 19th in McMinnville. Marla will share why XANADU is a real crowd pleaser and a showcase for musical actors. After that, I'll talk with Pentacle Theatre legend Joe Dodge about why you should sign up now for the summer term of her ever-popular acting workshop, which starts June 7th in downtown Salem. Joe's been teaching her class for more than 40 years, and whether you're an experienced actor or a curious beginner, she helps her students to grow as an artist and as a person. But first, let's dive into the KMUZ Theater Talk calendar for news about auditions and shows happening at your favorite Mid-Willamette Valley theaters. For McMinnville and Newburgh area theaters, at Gallery Theatre in downtown McMinnville, Roald Dahl's Willy Wonka with music and lyrics by Leslie Bricusse and Anthony Newley is now on the Gallery Theatre main stage through May 25th. You can learn all about Willy Wonka in my interview with directors Travis and Kalina Morgan and two actors from the show on the KMUZ Theater Talk podcast. On the Gallery Theatre call board, auditions for the musical XANADU by Bean, Lynn, and Farrar and directed by Kelly Jansen and Marla Nuttman are Sunday, May 18th and Monday, May 19th with callbacks on May 20th. XANADU tells the story of Kira, a beautiful Greek muse who descends from Mount Olympus to 1990's Venice Beach to inspire Sonny, a struggling artist, to create his ultimate artistic dream, the first roller disco. But when Kira falls for Sonny, her jealous sisters interfere, creating a whirlwind of chaos and laughter. Co-director Marla Nuttman joins me today to talk about why XANADU perfectly and lovingly parodies the 80s original film, making it a real audience pleaser, and how actors can feature their best at auditions. XANADU will be on stage August 29th through September 21st at Gallery. For show information and tickets, go to gallerytheatre.org. Penguin Productions in Newburgh. On Newburgh's Penguin Productions outdoor stage this summer from July 24th through August 9th is Upon the King, written by William Shakespeare, conceived and adapted by Andrew Philpott. Upon the King is an adaptation of 8 of Shakespeare's greatest history plays, weaving one continuous story of England's crown as it passes from king to king through acts both noble and treacherous. From the 100 Years' War with France to the chaos of the War of the Roses, this play captures the triumphs, betrayals, and humanity behind the throne, only as Shakespeare and Andrew Philpott can tell it. For show information and tickets, go to the Penguins on Stage webpage. At Greater Salem area theaters, for Bridgetown Conservatory in Salem, see Bridgetown's Facebook page and the bridgetownconservatory.org website to sign up for their triple threat classes and auditions, and for show information and tickets. At Center Stage Theatrics in Salem, the 4th year of Camp Center Stage, a week-long overnight theater camp for middle school through high school students, is now full, but you can still apply for a spot on their wait list or to be a camp counselor. For more information, go to centerstagetheatrics.org. At Children's Educational Theater in Salem, CET's popular 2025 summer program classes start June 23rd and run through July 26th. There's still some spots open for 10th through 12th graders at cetsalem.org. At Kaiser Homegrown Theater, Waiting for Godot by Dave Hansen and directed by Linda Baker runs June 13th through 29th. In this play, filled with razor-sharp wit and absurd humor, Esther and Val, two perpetually overlooked understudies, find themselves trapped in the existential purgatory of the backstage, endlessly waiting for their chance to perform in Beckett's classic. As they bicker over art, life, and the elusive purpose of their existence, they unknowingly mirror the very play they're meant to understudy. For show information and tickets, go to kaiserhomegrowntheater.org and their Facebook page. At Pentacle Theatre in Salem, the Tennessee Williams classic The Glass Menagerie is playing at Pentacle Theatre through May 31st. Now, this is an outstanding new staging of the memory play that catapulted Williams from obscurity to playwriting fame. The Glass Menagerie has been getting rave reviews, but if you're still undecided, take a listen to the KMUZ Theater Talk podcast for my interview with director Jeff Sanders and actors Chris Shopes and Quay Didasco for a behind-the-curtain conversation to learn more about why it's still a classic worth experiencing. On the Pentacle Theatre call board, director Jennifer Jimshevsky will hold auditions July 19th for A Comedy of Tenors by Ken Ludwig. The show runs October 3rd through 25th. And Joe Dodge's acting workshop for adults 18 and older meets on Saturdays at Pentacle Theatre's rehearsal studio in downtown Salem. Enrollment is open now for her summer workshops that start June 7th. Joe joins me later in today's program to tell us all about her workshop classes. See the pentacletheater.org website and Facebook page for tickets, audition information, and to sign up for acting workshops. At Struts and Frets Theater Company in Rickreall, Shakespeare's A Midsummer Night's Dream plays September 4th through 6th at the River's Edge Amphitheater in downtown Independence. We're keeping an eye on the Struts and Frets Facebook and Instagram pages for adult and youth ensemble casting announcements. See the Struts and Frets Facebook page for more information and reserve your tickets at eventbrite.com. The Theater 33 2025 New Plays Festival will once again happen at Willamette University in Salem this summer. Theater 33 is expected to announce its summer festival lineup soon, and we'll bring you that news when we learn more. Watch theater33.org and their Facebook page for festival details. For the Staten and Silverton area theaters, at Brush Creek Playhouse in Silverton, Jenny Trickett's Of Man and Mosquito, directed by Cade Miller, is on stage through May 18th at the Little Red Playhouse on Silverton Road. The play is about one man's struggle to make sense of that ridiculous thing we call life, along with a slew of unforgettable characters. Go to brushcreekplayhouse.com and Facebook for show, ticket, and upcoming audition information. At Spotlight Community Theater in downtown Staten, Cliff Notes of Insanity, The Princess Bride in 30 Minutes or Less, and other fantastical stories run through May 18th at the Spotlight in downtown Staten, is directed by Shannon Rempel. For show information, tickets, and upcoming audition details, go to spotlightct.com and also Facebook. For the Albany and Corvallis area theaters, on stage at Albany Civic Theater May 9th through 24th is the Agatha Christie classic murder mystery, And Then There Were None. You can hear more about this popular show from director Ken Long and actors Butch Beal and Casper Oliver on the KMUZ Theater Talk podcast. For show information, tickets, and audition details, go to albanycivic.org and Facebook. At the Mid-Valley Musical Theater in Albany, auditions for Walt Disney's Tarzan, the musical, with music by Phil Collins, are June 7th and 8th. Performances are August 7th through 16th at the Albany Performing Arts Center. For more information, tickets, and audition details, go to mvtheater.org and Facebook. At the Majestic Theater in downtown Corvallis, Lerner and Lowe's My Fair Lady closes May 18th at the Majestic. It's directed by Emily Farron with musical direction by Jim Martinez. As You Like It, Shakespeare's wonderful romance play set in the Forest of Arden, will be staged in the outdoor amphitheater at Starker Arts Park in Corvallis, July 12th and 13th. It's directed by Harriet Owen Nixon. For the Mid-Valley colleges and universities, Chemeketa Community College's Theater Under the Stars presents Disney's Mary Poppins, July 29th through August 7th at the Jerry Frank Amphitheater in Salem's Riverfront Park. The show is directed by Stephen Munshaw and choreographed by Christopher Dean. For more information, email smunshaw@chemeketa.edu or call 503-836-2266. At Western Oregon University in Monmouth, WOU's theater season winds up May 28th through 31st with Tiny Beautiful Things, directed by Raisa Fleming. Based on the best-selling book by Cheryl Strayed and adapted for the stage by Nina Vardalos, it's based on the questions and answers that Sugar, struggling writer Cheryl Strayed, published online from 2010 through 2012 when she took over an unpaid, anonymous job as an advice columnist. Tiny Beautiful Things is a play about reaching when you're stuck, healing when you're broken, and finding the courage to take on questions that have no answers. For more information and tickets, go to the wou.edu theater page or see their Facebook page. And that's a wrap for today's KMUZ Theater Talk calendar for plays and auditions at your favorite theaters. If your Mid-Willamette Valley Theater has a play or audition coming up that's not on our calendar, please send it our way at kmuztheatertalk@gmail.com. Coming up after the break, I talk with director Marla Nuttman from Gallery Theatre about auditions for the musical XANADU, happening this Sunday and Monday, May 18th and 19th in McMinnville. Stick around. We'll be right back after this. You know, KMUZ Theater Talk and KMUZ FM both rely on the support of our listeners and sponsors in our community. Because you enjoy listening to KMUZ Theater Talk on your commercial-free, all-volunteer community radio station, be a hero, and please go to kmuz.org today, click the donate button, and don't forget to say that KMUZ Theater Talk sent you. And thanks a million for your support. My next guest today here on KMUZ Theater Talk is Marla Nuttman from the Gallery Theatre in McMinnville, who is co-directing the musical XANADU, which is based on the 1980s film of the same name. This is going to be a fun interview because this is a fun show. Welcome to KMUZ Theater Talk, Marla.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
A quick question for you. Given the background of this show and its success, or I'm not sure you could call it a success on film, tell me what you really love about this show to bring it to the Gallery Theatre stage.
XANADU the musical is based on that 1980 movie that I was a teen watching it, a young teen, and thought it was great then. And the movie is actually subjectively terrible, but the music is great. It's Jeff Lynne and John Farrar and a lot of the ELO songs that you know from back in the day. And it's really funny, and it's going to be campy and colorful and amazing.
So this one happens in August at the Gallery Theatre. You also have a co-director for this show. Tell me a little bit about that relationship and what you guys are going to bring to the stage.
I'm co-directing with my good friend, Kelly Jansen, who you have maybe seen her shows at the gallery before. She did Mamma Mia, she did Shrek. Just recently, she did Grease, and she likes to put on the big musicals, and she's really good at it. And so I've never done a musical before, so I thought I could learn a lot from working with her. We both just really like this show, and we're hoping that we can produce something good together.
Well, I am absolutely sure that Kelly is going to bring it on the musical side just the same way you bring it on the straight play side as well, because, let's face it, you're a considerably experienced director yourself.
Oh, thank you. It'll be my first musical and my first comedy, so I expect that I will learn a lot this summer.
Tell me a little bit about the overall plot of the show and where this journey is going to take us and how it compares to the original film version.
XANADU the musical follows generally the outline of the movie, which is about an artist named Sunny who is trying to create a roller disco. It's going to be his great work of art. And Kira is a Greek muse, and she and her sisters come to Venice Beach, California, to help him fulfill his dream. And in the musical, there's a side storyline with two of the muses who are trying to cause trouble. And it's two great roles for women that will play the evil women in the story.
How fickle the gods are.
Yes.
So we were talking a little bit earlier about the kind of skewering of the original film that the musical version does. Tell me a little bit about that.
It's all very tongue-in-cheek, kind of a wink and a nod to the genre of the musical movie from that time period, which they were riding on the popularity of Grease. It's very colorful, electric, early 80s looks, and it's going to have a lot of that, and also a little bit of updating and a lot of silliness, and it'll be really fun.
So kind of a parody of the original film.
Yes, it's a parody based on the original movie.
While the film barely made its money back, the musical comedy was pretty successful. I mean, it opened on Broadway in 2007 and ran for over 500 performances. Was actually a pretty popular show. Why do you think the show is a fun one for the gallery to put on?
Well, the music is great, and it's just a very modern take on this storyline. It's something for the people who love the movie because it follows that, but it's also very modern and a wink to the silliness of that time.
What are some of the musical numbers that people might know?
Oh, it has so many great songs. Magic. These are all ELO songs. I'm Alive opens the show, and the Greek muses come to life. Evil Woman, and many, many more.
Part of this show you mentioned at the top is that Sonny's dream is to bring roller skating to the art world. That sounds like a strange kind of fever dream. How does that work out in the musical numbers and in this musical comedy?
It's in Venice Beach, California, and he's got his eye on this building, the XANADU, which was built many years before, probably in the 40s. And there's a little plot twist in there. Danny, who owns the building, built that building with a little inspiration, and he never opened it. And so it's kind of a roller disco that's a little Greek and a little Art Deco and very neon.
Well, in the 1980s, people of my certain generation are going to remember that you could barely turn on a TV program without seeing Venice Beach and roller skaters along the sidewalk in Venice Beach, and the muscle men and the volleyball players and all of that really took second place to roller skating in the 1980s. I think that's worth mentioning.
It's so much fun. It's great.
Yeah.
I did a lot of it in the 80s myself.
That's great. Well, let's talk about what you're looking for at auditions, which happen on the 18th and 19th. That's Sunday and Monday coming up when we recorded this segment. What are you looking for in terms of auditioners? And the most important question, do you have to know how to roller skate to be in this show?
The two main roles of Kira and Sonny, they have to know how to roller skate. There's quite a bit of it. Kira spends most of the show on skates. Then there's the older man, Danny, who also plays other roles. He does not have to skate. The two evil women do not have to skate. And then there's 4 more muses that make up the swing cast. And if they can skate, we will use them in that way. But really, only Kira and Sonny have to know how to skate.
So I'll bet there's some folks that are working on their skating now, knowing that that's coming up. How are you going to cover that in auditions? Are you going to ask people to bring their skates if they have them, or say, check this box if you can skate on the form?
Well, we will be asking people if they can skate, and we've actually put out a call bringing in some skates from our community, people who are loaning us skates in case. We probably won't worry about that until callbacks on Tuesday. And then, we start with who can do the musical parts and then work out from there on who can sing and skate and who can dance. And I hope people will bring their skates just to show us. But if not, we should be able to find a pair that they can wear.
And are you looking for people who can do an Australian accent as well?
Yeah, Kira does have a pretty bad Australian accent. She also needs to have an actor voice, and she does a couple other accents poorly in the show.
Well, that sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Besides the leads, what are the other plum roles?
There's Danny, the older gentleman, middle-aged, who owns the XANADU and has some thoughts about how it should be put together.
What are you looking for specifically in that actor?
He should be able to sing, certainly, and if he can dance, that would be great. It's not a heavy dancing role, but a little bit. It's a good role because he's got other parts to play too, so it's not just Danny.
And then you've got the muses, right?
Yeah, there's two more main roles. There's Calliope and Melpomene. They have this secondary plot line. I would say if Kira and Sunny are in the 20 to 40 range, I don't think we're being too picky. They should probably be close to age. But then those two evil women should probably be over 40. And again, not too picky about that. And then 4 swing cast who could be any age. As far as I'm concerned, it really should be 2 men and 2 women, but it's up in the air. The script lets us choose, but they are the sisters. So those 2 men and 2 women are muses.
Okay, so to give some tips to those who are going to show up for auditions, what should they be focusing on so that they can feature to you what their skills are?
We are asking for a monologue and a song. Then they could show us that they can sing, and some comedy chops would probably help. A comedy monologue would probably be really great, but not necessary.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll find out if they can dance and carry props and the like.
So you don't have to be a quadruple threat, but it would help if you were good at least 2 out of the 3 triple threat parts of theater.
I would say so.
Yeah.
If you can sing, that would be really great. If you can dance, even better.
As far as the vocal audition goes, you're not asking for a whole song, right? Like 32 bars or so is going to be good, about a minute or so.
Yeah. We'll have a wireless speaker to use, Bluetooth speaker, so that you can just bring your music. We're not going to have an accompanist. Just bring your karaoke track or whatever you want.
After auditions on Sunday and Monday, you'll have callbacks on Tuesday. What are you going to do at callbacks that are going to be different from audition days?
We will put actors together and see how people work together. We'll probably have a dance audition those days since we won't be having dancing in the regular auditions. And we'll listen to people sing together and see how the chemistry works out.
So I'm here on the sign-up site for auditions, and it looks pretty full.
Yeah, we've filled up all of our slots. We're going to add at least 1 more hour to both Sunday and Monday.
So Sunday the 18th is going to go from 5 until 10 o'clock in the evening, and the same for Monday, right?
Yep.
Okay. Wow. That's great that you guys have so many people interested in this, because given the success that Kelly Jansen brings to these shows, I can't imagine that people aren't excited about it, that they just really want to be there for you guys.
Everybody loves working with Kelly. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Well, folks, XANADU, the musical, plays August 29th through September 21st at the Gallery Theatre. This is a great show, booked by Douglas Carter Bean and music and lyrics by Jeff Lynne and John Farrar. It's based on the original 1980s film, Bad as It Was. The musical is great and a lot of fun. It tells the story of Kira, a beautiful Greek muse who descends from Mount Olympus to 1980s Venice Beach, California, and inspires Sonny, a struggling artist who wants to create his ultimate artistic feat, the first roller disco. What could be more 1980s than that? But when Kira falls for Sunny, her jealous sisters interfere, leading to a whirlwind of chaos and laughter. Oh, those naughty little muses. This is going to be a lively, nostalgic look back at the 80s with great tunes and endless fun. And yes, roller skating. So, guys, if you're interested in auditioning, and it seems like the whole world is at this point, auditions are Sunday, May 18th from 5 in the evening until 10 at night, and Monday, the 19th from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. There'll be callbacks on Tuesday, starting at 6 o'clock. Marla Nuttman, thank you so much for joining me here on KMUZ Theater Talk to talk about XANADU auditions. It's been a pleasure having you.
Thank you, Ed. I appreciate it.
Coming up next, I'll talk with Pentacle Theatre legend Jo Dodge about why you should sign up for her ever-popular summer term acting workshop, which starts June 7th in downtown Salem. We'll be right back after this short break, so hang in there. Ed Shopes here, the host of KMUZ Theater Talk. I know you love hearing about shows and auditions at your favorite Mid-Valley theaters, or you wouldn't be listening to KMUZ Theater Talk right now. That's why I'm asking you to go to kmuz.org today and hit the donate button to support KMUZ Theater Talk and your all-volunteer, commercial-free, nonprofit community radio station. Be a hero and make a one-time or a monthly sustaining donation at kmuz.org. And thanks a million for supporting KMUZ FM and KMUZ Theater Talk. I'm here with Jo Dodge, who is a legend at Pentacle Theatre in Salem. She's been involved at the theater in a really special way since 1981. Jo has taught an acting workshop every Saturday morning at the theater or at the rehearsal studio downtown. I'm really happy to have her as a guest today to talk about how to sign up for a class and when the summer session starts. Welcome, Jo Dodge, to KMUZ Theater Talk.
Thank you, Ed.
You have been providing, I guess I would say, an opportunity and a service for helping people to learn more about the craft of acting, about how to get involved at Pentacle Theatre or any other community theater in the area. I just want to thank you for that because you've made a huge difference in the theater community since you started teaching classes in 1981.
It was almost Providence that started this class when I came to Salem in 1979. I found out about Pentacle Theatre, and they asked me to direct Two for the Seesaw. And it was from that everything else blossomed. Tom Gill was the head of the theater department at Chemeketa Community College. So he was the one that invited me to take over this acting workshop through Chemeketa. So that's how that started.
Tell me a little bit about where we are with the classes today. You taught through Chemeketa Community College. Your classes were at the theater for a long time, and now your classes are held in the downtown rehearsal space in downtown Salem. How has that journey been for you?
The very first class that started after COVID was in the theater still. And then when we moved, that first class that started in the rehearsal hall has continued since and will.
I think it's much more convenient for students and other people to not have to drive all the way out to the theater on a Saturday morning.
There's no question that
You've taught or inspired more than 2,000 students over the last 4 decades. Tell me a little bit about how your acting workshop has evolved from the very beginning to where it is today.
It always was not from a certain book or method, if you will. It was always my life experience in the theater that I taught about acting. If I could describe it, it would have to be a weekly improvisational session. The class, when you sign up, is for 11 weeks. Saturday morning from 9 to 12, 3 hours. What I have been able to teach is my own take on what it takes to be an actor. The good news is that the success rate has been enormous because so many people that have come through the workshop have stayed on to be actors at Pentacle. So whatever it is that they're learning is transferring beautifully to the stage.
You know, I've taken your class a couple of times. It's a really fun workshop, and it's also a lot of work.
Yes.
You know, because it's not just Saturday. The students in this class actually work with some scripted scenes
Yes.
that you coach.
Yes.
And they present that scene several times before, I guess, what I would call the final exam.
Yeah, it's right. Of the 11, the sixth session is where people are not yet prepared with their scenes, but rather read them in front of everybody. From the beginning, the scene partners work on their own outside of class. In between the sixth week and the 11th, I have traditionally worked with the two students. I direct their scene away from the class. So then when the 11th week comes, they come in and the final is whatever state it's in.
I think that's great because it's part of the journey.
Absolutely.
You choose a piece, you work with a scene partner. That's all of what we do as an actor.
That's right. One of the things that I make very clear to students is that I do not go past the initial rehearsal period of a play. I do not go into the performance part of it. And the reason I've always been very, very careful not to do that is that I'm a director. Not all directors agree with me or do what I do. Therefore, what I feel I do with my students is prepare them to the point of now you're working with a director to perform the actual play. And I've always been very careful to make that distinction. Everybody has their way of getting actors to do what they want them to do. I want my students to be flexible enough and know enough to do the memorizing, rehearsing, all that. I cannot teach them what other directors are going to demand from them. I'm preparing them for whatever. That's an important part of it.
What's your basic goal in helping students to advance? You've got people from all different levels in your class, people
Yes.
who have never been on stage before,
Yes.
people from the community who want to improve their presentation skills,
Doctors, lawyers, absolutely.
all walks of life. And then you've got experienced actors and come and take your class because it's good to keep at it, even if you've been on stage a lot. How do you work with each of these people that have different levels of experience?
What I have found is when you put a bunch of people, different ages, different experience, different everything, what happens is really, truly, we learn from each other. The people that don't have the experience and get up certainly learn from the people who have more experience. However, the more experienced people get a whole new, sometimes, way of approaching what they already know. It's really that. It's a group effort. Actors must become other human beings from the inside out. I teach inside out, never from the outside in. That's the crux of what I teach.
What do you hope people will take away after 11 weeks in your class?
Most times, what actually happens, number one, self-confident, because what I really teach is that. What does it take to be self-confident, to be an actor, to become another person? And in fact, I have mantras. You'll probably remember. Some of them have grown since you were around. But the main mantra, if I may, is you have to want to develop the self-confidence to make the decision, to take the permission that the stage gives you and focus to put yourself on the planet of the play. That's my mantra.
I think developing that that greater sense of confidence and connection.
It's everything.
Yeah, it's everything.
Uh-huh. It's kind of like a life lesson. Everything I teach in acting can be applied to how to live better. Honestly, it's true. Living in the moment and all that. So,
Well, I think the proof is in the fact that this class has been going on for 4 decades or more.
never gets old. And honest to God, it's an improvisation for me every week. More than because the group of people I have at any given time dictate emotionally to me. And so I never, ever have been too tired or too bored or too anything for Saturday mornings. In fact, my family never plans anything for Saturday morning if it's going to be a family thing, because I've been doing this, well, since 1981.
I think that's the thing about live theater, and we say it all the time when we're in rehearsal, and especially when we're in performance, anything can happen. Every
Right.
night's going to be different. The audience is going to have a different reaction. Actors are going to discover yet another wonderful part about their character or their relationship with a different character on stage that they're going to bring to the audience. That's the beauty of theater. It's the human connection.
Yes.
It's working with your scene partners to bring that alive.
Exactly. One thing that is for sure, there's an oxymoron, if you will. I call it connection/disconnection. So, in order to connect with your audience, you must disconnect from them and create this life on stage. And so, at the same time, you're disconnecting, and that's what makes the connection to the audience. The one thing I'll add to your comment, Ed, is that I also teach a great discipline in that once a play is set, we don't get creative by changing anything in a set play, because it's not about you, it's about the entire play and the cast and the lights and everything else.
Once the play is set, absolutely. But, we all discover things along the way at the same time, too.
Exactly. Yes.
Whether you're curious about acting or a beginning actor or an experienced actor, or you just want to improve your performance and presentation skills, Joe Dodge's Acting Workshop is a real fun and valuable way to learn some lessons about rehearsal, performance, preparation. How to interpret scripts with precision, how to put an emotional truth in performance, how to collaborate with your scene partners in a non-competitive environment, how to develop a deeper understanding of character, subtext, and story. If you really want to improve your skills or learn new skills, Joe Dodge's acting class is the way to do it. Her next summer session starts on June 7th. Registration is open right now. Go to pentacletheatre.org to learn more and register for the class. Now, space is limited, and Joe's classes traditionally fill up pretty quickly. The sooner you do this, the better, folks. Joe Dodge, thank you so much for sharing your experience for the last 40 years, and thank you so much for joining me here on KMUZ Theater Talk.
Thank you so much, Ed. It was my pleasure.
Well, it's time to wind up today's KMUZ Theater Talk program. Thanks a million for listening. KMUZ Theater Talk comes your way at 9 a.m. the first and third Friday of the month on KMUZ at 100.7 and 88.5 FM. Also on KMWV FM Dallas at 98.3 HD2 and streaming worldwide at kmuz.org and on the KMUZ mobile app. If you'd like to share this program with your friends and hear more behind-the-curtain interviews, open your favorite podcast app and subscribe to KMUZ Theater Talk. I'll be back on June 6th with a brand new KMUZ Theater Talk program. Meanwhile, see the KMUZ Theater Talk Facebook page for news and updates about live theater in the Mid-Willamette Valley. Next Friday at 9 a.m. on KMUZ 100.7 FM, you can hear Talking About Art with Joel Zack. KMUZ Theater Talk is proud to partner with the Mid-Valley Theater Network and with Press Play Salem. And until next time, I'll see you in the front row.